I almost got married at 18. I was completely blinded by love, and when it fell apart, I thought my life was completely over. Looking back, not getting married absolutely saved my life. When you're 18, love doesn't feel like a simple, mere part of your life. It feels like your whole entire life. Everything becomes about that person. Your mood, your plans, your future, everything. Looking back, I wasn't thinking with my brain. I was thinking with pure emotions. And I slowly but surely started to believe that this relationship had to become something official, something permanent. I didn't want a partner, I wanted pure certainty. It felt like if I could lock it in forever, nothing could ever go wrong. So I built this whole future in my head and I treated it like it was already real. To give you guys a little bit more context so you don't feel absolutely lost, I met this girl in college in my language class. And it didn't really work out at first. We were barely even friends. But the next semester, she was in my physics class. And that's how we really got closer. We started studying together, working on lab projects together. And I guess, when it's late at night and you're in college working really hard, you take these small little breaks and you go for a walk together around the school, around the campus. And we slowly but surely started having conversations that weren't about school anymore, but that started to become, pretty personal. Lo and behold, couple months later, we started hanging out a lot. And when I say we started hanging out a lot, I mean we started hanging out outside of school. And I knew I loved her. I still know that I used to love her. But the reason marriage was on the table so early on was a mix of two things, I'd say. First, religion. In my head, marriage was the right thing, the clean thing, the correct path. And I guess I still identify with that portion, but the second part was that I was, again, totally blinded by love. Like, genuinely, I couldn't imagine life without her. So, marriage became my solution to every single one of my fears. Being immature at that age, I confused holy with healthy. I thought marriage would make everything stable, safe, and, permanent. But the truth is, marriage doesn't fix instability, it just legitimately exposes it. At 18, unfortunately, I didn't have the emotional skills for that. I just had feelings and a lot of belief of certainty. The scary part is how stuck I was on it, on that idea of marriage. I definitely had tunnel vision. I wasn't open to feedback. If someone questioned it and my decision or, the things I would talk about at the time, I felt offended. I felt as though someone was attacking me personally. I made it my mission. I was like, this is happening. No matter whether or not you like it, it will happen. I wasn't flexible. I was definitely fixated on the idea of being married, even though I was so young. When you're immature, you basically call obsession, that form of obsession of being fixated on that one particular idea, you call it love. I wasn't asking the important questions like, am I mature enough? Can I handle true deep conflict? Can I lead a household? Can I be emotionally stable for her? I was asking, how do I keep this feeling, this thing that I have for her forever? I wanted the title more than I understood the responsibility. And then it didn't happen. Not because we mutually decided to stop, but because our parents didn't want it. And in that moment, I felt like my entire future that I had planned, built out until the age of 86, where we would die holding hands together in a nursing home, I felt like my entire future got Alt F4'd, deleted. I felt embarrassed. I felt powerless. I felt like I lost the biggest thing in my life, the thing that identified me, that made me be who I am. It wasn't just a breakup to me, it was like my whole entire identity had collapsed. Because I tied my identity to being the young 18-year-old guy who is going to get married. I was going to be a husband at maybe 18, 19, 20, no matter what, around that age, I was going to be a husband. I remember thinking, if I'm not this person, then what am I? At the time, I didn't see it as a form of protection. I saw it as a tragedy that completely shattered my soul. Now I look back and I'm like, they saved me from myself, and they saved her from herself. After that episode, which the breakup happened around the end of college, I went on to a new university, and the first year at that university, I went into a full-blown depression. And I unfortunately didn't handle it in a healthy and professional or mature way. I didn't go out, I didn't socialize, I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to exist. I stayed home constantly. I barely went to classes. And when I did, I was physically there, but mentally gone. I stopped talking to people, even people who cared about me. I started hating the people who used to discourage me from getting married because it felt as though they could just rub it in my nose and tell me, you see, you weren't ready. And it wasn't because I truly hated them. I just didn't have any energy. I disappeared from my own life. My days became wake up, stay inside, scroll for 3-4 hours in bed, overthink, feel sick, think about her, think about how good life would be if she was still here with me, try to study, but, barely do anything, fall asleep. Those were my days. I was stuck in my head 24/7. When you build your whole entire future around one person, losing them doesn't feel like losing a relationship. It feels like losing oxygen. It feels like losing what makes you alive. And then eventually, a couple months later, I'd say around the middle of my second semester at the university, something shifted. It wasn't like in a Disney movie where the protagonist just wakes up and has infinite energy and just basically moves on in a second, feels so happy. It was more so like I got tired of suffering. I realized if I stay like this, if I don't move on, I'm going to lose years of my life. So I started small. I started going to the library to force myself to study and basically be alive again, socialize again. I slowly but surely started meeting people at the library who also were studying, and they invited me to go to the gym with them, so I said, sure, why not? I started going to the gym, and at first it wasn't about trying to look good, it was about having somewhere to put my pain in. The gym gave me structure when my brain had absolutely none. I didn't heal by talking with others per se. I more so healed by rebuilding who I was. And I started to feel proud again because I was keeping promises to myself. Progress became my way of going through life and having therapy. Now, when I look back at that period of my life, I'm genuinely immensely grateful it didn't happen because I wasn't mature enough. I was a teenager, new adult with very mature emotions, but I didn't understand responsibility. I thought I did. And if you talked to me when I was 18, I thought I had it all figured out. I thought I was smarter than my parents. I thought I was smarter than everyone around me, that I was more responsible, more emotionally deep rooted within myself, but I didn't understand responsibility. I didn't understand emotional regulation. I didn't understand that being someone's husband means you can't collapse every time life gets hard. Love isn't enough if you don't have those emotional skills that you develop through time, through diverse experiences that you acquire in life. Going through pain, going through these sorts of episodes builds you to become someone stronger. Marriage doesn't create maturity, it just demands it. At 18, I wanted the outcome without the growth. So I nowadays see it as though I didn't lose a marriage, I dodged a life that I really wasn't ready to lead. Look, and today I have a girlfriend. We've been together for about a year. It's going good, and marriage isn't in our plans right now, not because we're scared, but because we're realistic. I don't feel the need to rush anything. The goal for us isn't to get married fast, it's to build who we are slowly but surely together. And if you're 18, 19, 2020, watching this and feeling like you need to lock someone in, ask yourself, do I love them or am I afraid to be alone? Real love, deep love, doesn't need urgency, it needs readiness. And if you're in that season right now where it feels like everything in your life has collapsed, I promise you, it's not the end. This right now is a reset button. Maybe you're gonna go through pain, but eventually you'll come out stronger and better. Anyways, look, that was the story for today. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. If you do, please leave a like and subscribe. It really is the best thing you could do to me. Leave a comment on what you think about these yapping sessions and if you are interested in having more videos like this. And I'll see you guys later.